Hello to the side and back. My name is Toki Uzuru, also known as Toki, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a very special, I was about to say episode, installment of media messages from my last video of this year. In today's installment, I will be talking about the show / anime Ouran High School Host Club, which I will be shortening the Host Club just to make it a lot easier for me to speak. Now, the basic storyline for this anime is main character, MC for short, is in a school that is usually reserved for people of a higher tax bracket, honestly, a higher social class, the children of rich people. And MC ends up getting into said prestigious school through a scholarship. And as they were trying to find a quiet place for them to study, they went through 3 different libraries and none of them were quiet, and found a room that was labeled Music Room 3. Unbeknownst to them, this room held most of the activities of the host club, which, if I remember it right directly from the anime, is a place where rich kids with way too much time on their hands can entertain other rich kids with way too much time on their hands. Main character ends up bumping into a very expensive vase and it breaks. Now the host club is like, you're gonna end up having to pay it back somehow. So MC becomes their errand dog. But because of the amount of potential that MC shows in actually being a host, they get pushed up from errand dog to official host. Now, all of this, I'm guessing, happened in like one day. And throughout this entire time, most of the members of the host club do not know that MC is not a boy. They all assumed that MC was a guy. And by the end of all of the hijinks that happens, the entire host club now knows that MC is not a guy, MC is a girl, and now they have a bigger problem on their hands. Insert traditional anime hijinks when it comes to school. As spoiler-free for this thing as I could possibly have it. Let's go ahead and put a pin in that, leave it for later. Let's go to something else that I wanted to bring up, and honestly one of the reasons on why I decided to bring this up. So as a person that's on a spiritual journey / a spiritual path, I tend to take a lot of signs and messages from things that I encounter, and the one way that happens is if it happens repeatedly. Like 1 or 2 times might just be something for me to go ahead and be aware of. But if it happens 3 or more, okay, I'm paying attention now. What is it? I talked somewhat about that in one of my videos where I was talking about psychic abilities and being any of the clairs, like clairaudient, clairvoyant, stuff like that. Now, one of the main problems with this, especially as you live in the modern age with technology being so close to knowing exactly who you are before you know who you are, and as I am a person that loves to go ahead and just absorb content, I tend to have multiple hours of me just scrolling through TikTok. If other videos that I've done where I've mentioned me scrolling through a social media and finding something that brings up an idea for me to make a video on says anything about that. Yeah, remember how I said the entire thing of technology knowing you before you know you? That has something to do with this video. I bring in Exhibit A. There was this one specific TikTok video that had me actually sit down and think this one through. And it was this one person explaining how the anime Ouran High School Host Club brought them to the realization that they were non-binary. And to make a long video short, it was kind of because they wanted to be the main character, not in the way of, oh, I wanted to have all of these boys just surrounding, all of these pretty boys just around. And that brought me to the conclusion that, oh, I kind of felt that way too, but I just didn't really look too much into it. Should I? So after watching said TikTok video, I literally had to go ahead and sit my butt down and think about this. Because I agreed with a lot of the stuff that they said in their TikTok video about them relating so much to the main character. And I was like, you know what? I had this, I was thinking about this like a few weeks ago, actually a few months ago, and I just decided to drop it because I didn't have the time to think about it. And now that I have the time to think about it and it's now fresh in my mind again, let's think about it. Now, even before the whole TikTok video thing about me having to literally have a gender crisis while I was just sitting on my bed, before that, I was scrolling specifically through YouTube to go ahead and find a decent character-based playlist so I can go ahead and clean up. Because I like listening to music while I clean up. If I don't have to pause in the middle of me cleaning up to change a song, everything's fine. And I came across a specific character-based playlist that was titled Having a Gender Crisis on the Floor with Sarah Honta. Sarah Honta's from a different anime entirely, My Hero Academia. Anyway, I listened to most, I believe, of the playlist, and I found out that there are a lot of songs on that playlist that I either already liked or was hearing for the first time, and I was like, okay, yeah, I like this one. So as I was listening to it, I was like, okay, the fact that I know this song, the fact that I like this song, the fact that I'm actually liking the song, although I'm hearing it for the first time, makes me very concerned. And as I said earlier, I take in signs from pretty much anything. And if it happens multiple times, it is something that I need to actually consciously focus on. So you have the character-based playlist just literally reading me out like a heckin' book, and then you have TikTok with its algorithm of knowing what you would want to watch to keep you on the platform. And I just came to my final conclusion after thinking about this for a good 2 hours. Welp. Okay, for those who don't understand what the colors are, this is me basically saying I am non-binary. I identify as non-binary. I use they, them pronouns, and I personally do not like using any type of gendered language. One of the things that I did not point out when I made that before I made that announcement is that for the longest time, me and my sister have been joking around because I didn't completely fit what society would classify as traditional. I didn't fit the traditional model of feminine. So we joked around when I was younger saying that I should just check the box that says other when it comes to the whole gender thing on the tests and stuff. And I did. I've done that for a while. I stopped for some reason, and in trying to figure out whether I'm actually okay with this identifier, I went back to identifying myself as a gender neutral term to see whether I felt any way about it. Currently, as I am filming this video, I still don't feel completely connected to they, them pronouns, but I feel less connected, if you can say that, to traditionally feminine pronouns. And I found out that I originally liked and envied the main character of Host Club because of how androgynous she was able to look. The power of makeup and choosing the right clothes is just astounding. Because she could rock both traditionally feminine and traditionally masculine. She was able to look good in both the girls' uniform and the boys' uniform, and I absolutely envied that until I realized I could do something similar, and I'm like, okay, yes. I thought a good while about actually doing this video, and I wrote down everything for this video and still waited until around the end of the year to film and eventually put out this video, mainly to give myself time to settle into this identity and this identifier, but also to prepare myself for what may happen when this video releases. So as I would usually do in my videos, that is the end of the video. I am marking it, and that means we get to go to the stereotypical YouTuber outro, where I, as a stereotypical YouTuber, would ask you to do the following. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified of whenever I post. If you have any type of questions, comments, concerns, because I might just do an updated video to answer any lingering questions, pretty much about anything on this topic specifically. And I would rather have all of those questions in like one specific space, so I don't end up having to go through several different comment sections or whatever. But if you have any type of questions, comments, concerns, or ideas for future videos, you can put all of that into the comment section below. And yep, that's it. My name is Toki Uzuru, also known as Toki, and this is Toki saying I will see you next year.